and welcome to healthyhouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Today, I'm adding to my orchid series with a quick video here on orchid bark and why it's a really good choice for your orchids. So this is orchid bark here, and here is some right here. I can give you a close-up here of what it looks like. It basically looks like bark chips, as you can see, because that's what it is. So this is so important to use with orchids, and I know there are other things that people do use. There's moss that is often used to plant them as well, and then there is also you could use perlite and things like that, but it is called orchid bark for a reason. It's one of the things that's going to be more, you're going to have more luck with it, especially if you're beginning with orchids. The thing about orchid bark is that, and the thing about orchids is to consider, is orchids are epiphytes. That means that they grow on trees. In their native habitats, they grow on trees. They grow actually suspended upside down on trees, like this photo here I'm showing you here. So that's how they naturally grow, okay? And they are not terrestrial plants. Terrestrial plants grow with their roots in soil, like the trees outside, like a Ficus benjamina that you may be growing in your house, or Dracaena, that sort of thing. They grow, that's a terrestrial plant. But orchids are epiphytic, they're epiphytes. They grow on things, and they don't grow with their roots suspended in soil. They grow up into trees, and they use aerial roots and stuff to attach themselves. And that being said, they aren't made even the way we grow them. We grow them the way we grow them so we can enjoy them with the plant, with the flower on top. But because upside down, unless you're hanging it from the ceiling, doesn't look as good. However, because of that, they really aren't meant to be growing in soil. So that's why you use the orchid bark. The orchid bark, as you can see, these pieces are really, really big, right? That just allows the roots somewhere to set so that the plant can stay upright. That's basically what you're doing with this. So that's why you want to be careful that you're not using anything that's that stays too waterlogged for your orchids, because that can lead to root rot of your orchids. So that's why you use orchid bark. And another thing to keep in mind is you want to, when you see the orchid bark starting to break down, and it will break down over time and become more like powdery, and that kind of creating like a soil in there, it's time to repot your orchids, because you don't want it to get too heavy in there for the roots. Yes, you will have to water more frequently with orchid bark because they do dry out more frequently, but you are simulating how they grow in their native habitat, which I always recommend you do as much as possible in your indoor garden, and therefore you're going to have a lot better luck with your orchids for that reason. So there you go. What is orchid bark? Made out of bark, as you can see, and then how to use it. And I wonder if it says, I didn't check to see. Oh, okay, so there's different barks they use. This one is fir bark. It's made from fir bark. So there you go. You can check out some of the orchid barks. I'll put some links below and see which one appeals to you, and give it a try in your orchids, especially if you've gotten orchids that you've bought where they're in a heavy moss. And if you're finding that moss is staying wet for long periods of time, it's time to switch over to orchid bark. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.